The Wessel Islands archipelago of Arnhem Land is one of Australia's last refuges for an array of endangered animals.
It is so remote, so it's really probably one of the most uniquest places in the Northern Territory. And because we record dolphins, whales, turtles, we've recorded some amazing species all around the archipelago.
To their Yolnu Aboriginal traditional owners, the islands are a spiritual birthplace of humanity.
Because it is full of water and the vast, rich area with lots of important totemic animals that created this area, they play a big, major role in all the cultural creational stories.
So scientists and the Gumar Marthical Rangers have formed a partnership to find out why the islands are a hotspot for turtles, false killer whales, rare snubfin and humpback dolphins and manta rays.
Yes, we saw Mark and he was going back to tell you guys because it's the swells.
It's a first step towards better protecting them from increasing threats, including overfishing, marine rubbish and abandoned fishing nets.
And it's just left drifting by the current. And yeah, it's a very large body of water, and all these things are moving around with all the animals in there. It's pretty dangerous.
They travel 4 hours by small boat from the nearest inhabited island, Elcho, and set up camp on the largest of the Wessel group, Marchinbar Island. The waters, teeming with fish, also attract other rare species, like inquisitive tawny nurse sharks. The partners are working to confirm their theory that the whales and dolphins here are completely separate populations from those off Australia's northeast and west coasts. So they're collecting tiny genetic skin samples with a specially converted rifle.
The false killer whale population here, with a few more DNA samples, skin samples, I'm pretty sure we'll find we actually have a coastal population, and then we can upgrade its conservation status.
They're also getting samples from manta rays as they cruise near the surface. If they're right, that would mean these distinct populations need to be protected in these waters rather than being expected to be able to move away from threats.
And then that will mean that we've got a really different management approach.
They're cooperating with other Indigenous sea ranger groups from Kakadu, Coburg, Darwin and the Tiwi Islands and other universities to attach satellite tags to track the movement of large male green turtles, which they think are declining in some areas.
We've got a number of the Kakadu rangers that are seriously experienced and experts at rodaying, jumping overboard, catching turtles, handing them back in the boat, and then I can put the tags on.
The Marthical Rangers hope to better protect the animals by completely closing some areas to hunting.
For turtle sanctuary areas, because we still traditionally hunt turtle, but also we need to help protect them as well.
But they worry they can't do anything about the biggest long-term threat, climate change.
At our scale, there's nothing we can do except that, obviously it's turning away from all the things that are causing climate change, and we know what they are.
To the scientists and Indigenous rangers, one of the most special things about this project is the exchange of knowledge, and they're hoping to use that to build up a picture that will convince governments and the public that it's so important to protect places like this.
It's better to work together as a team than stand alone, where that way the bigger bodies, like the bigger funding bodies, will see how important this particular field of work is.
There has been so little work done across the Northern Territory in the marine world. So yeah, we're hoping that this kickstarts an ongoing program that would be equivalent to what's gone on Ningaloo Reef in Western Australia, the Great Barrier Reef in Queensland.
At the moment, the Marthacal Rangers only have 2 boats to reach the 15,000 square kilometres of ocean and islands in the Indigenous protected area which they have responsibility for monitoring.
We need more help and more staff, because we got big IPA is a mess.
That's quality.
What is it?
The island's rocky outcrops and bush are home to some of Australia's last populations of endangered mammals, including the golden bandicoot.
Some animals are unique because they don't exist on mainland anymore. So you got animals like quolls, bandicoot, the rock wallaby, and other slithering animals, snakes.
The rangers and scientists are tracking them with cameras to see how many are left, and planning how to better manage threats like bushfires, which wiped out 3/4 of Marchand Bar's habitat last year.
One of the reasons why these places are so special for our wildlife is they don't have a lot of the threats that we get on mainland Australia these days. So cane toads, feral cats, pigs, horses, cattle. Places like this are really important refuges. Big bag. Yeah.
They're taking DNA samples to see if the quoll and bandicoot populations are too small, putting them at risk of diseases caused by inbreeding, and whether some of them need to be paired up with different mates.
What's tended to happen in other parts of the world has been translocating animals from other islands, basically just to reintroduce a little bit of genetic material.
No one has lived on these islands since smallpox brought by seafarers and cyclones destroyed the small communities. But the traditional owners' strong connection here is documented in their paintings. To the Gulpa and Warrnambool people of this area, this rock art records not just the important totem and food animals from the ocean here, but it's also an important historical record of their trade with the Macassans and of their ancestral beings.
This is our museum, or museum and a library, where everything is stored. Just from simple paintings, it tells volumes of in-depth knowledge, but very, very highly spiritual knowledge.
It's a visual reminder of cultural songlines they feel are calling them back.
There's a lot of emotion when seeing the painting itself, but also getting a positive energy that flows from that painting to give strength.
The traditional owners want some of their people to be able to return to live here. For that to happen, they would need infrastructure upgrades, including a new airstrip. They hope to establish a permanent ranger base here as a first step. For now, they're throwing all their energy into the project to protect these islands and their animals for future generations.
The work that will come out from this hopefully will bring in more funding for more further work that needs to be done, because this place is pretty much untouched, and it's sort of left the way it is. and we want to try and keep it that way. But we need to be able to get the work done, to look after it properly.